So we have a Junior NTR interview, but in Hollywood. It's by Associate Press. After RRR success, NTR Rama Rao Jr. returns with Devara Part 1 AP interview. So he had been promoting Devara Part 1 in US also, and I think they got quite a buzz. The film also made, I think, some $4-5 million there. That's great opening. I think overall the first part has worked, and it has, they did have a success party. They made, I think, 400 crores already. So we will be getting part 2 thus, and I hope they do it better, because the story was there in part 1, but the execution was just not there for me. So not a fan of it, but I hope they improve and come better with part 2. If you haven't seen it, I'll put the link to it in the description below. You can check it out. The channel membership is live. If you want to support the channel, you can become a member, enjoy such reactions early and some member only videos like song reactions. To know more, click on the join button. Without any delay, let's check it out.
I was here for RRR, and then we got the Oscars, then we won the Golden Globes. And now I'm
That is crazy.
I'm here for Devara, meeting all of you, and then I've got the reviews that my movie is doing phenomenally well. It's open to amazing reviews. I was like, hey, LA has become my lucky charm now. I said, for every movie, I'm going to be here. I'm going to sit down here and talk to everybody.
Okay.
You had to interrupt your shooting of Devara, is that right?
We had to. Yes, we had to.
Like, bye, we got Oscar things to do.
I know, obviously, it was such a dream come true, and I think it's.
I guess you was talking about you have to interrupt Devara shooting because of RRR and success.
It's every filmmaker's, every actor's, and every producer's dream to be a part of Oscars. So yeah. I said, why not? I said, Devara can take a break.
Yeah.
Let's take a small sabbatical. Let me go to Oscars. Let's come back and let's start it all over again. After I came back, we went straight into the underwater sequences, the underwater, because we had to get that done, because that was heavy on its on the VFX. So in order to really,
the VFX was actually like the whole climax. Okay, I don't want to spoil it for anyone, but the whole climax portion, the underwater sequences are not that bad. They're done well.
It at the right date. We need to give the outputs to the companies, to the CG companies at the right time.
Yeah.
So we were shooting with the most complicated CG works, the waters, the underwaters, the overwaters, the shark. All of those had to be shot.
You can feel the accent. I asked in another video also about the accent. What do you think about it? You can let me know in this video also.
Right after I finished the Oscars.
So you came back from the Oscars, and it was a very wet couple of months.
It was very. As I mentioned before, the underwater sequences and the shark sequence took us all about 35 days to shoot, and it was not easy. And it gets, and I don't like water a lot. I'm a mountain boy, so. It was really tough, but I guess I can't complain. Being an extra, I have to be in extreme situations, though I like it or not. Mm-hmm. But it really took a toll on us, because how you're, the more you're in the water and how everything just wrinkles up and all that. And it was winters, and every time I was getting out of the pool and getting into it again, it was taking a toll on my health. But I guess finally, when the movie releases, when you see the result, when you see the applause, I was at the Beyond Fest, and the applause, we got for that sequence especially I was just elated, and you tend to forget the hard work you've put into it.
How long can you hold your breath?
A minute, I guess.
Okay.
A minute.
Enough.
That's a lot.
Enough to get the shots done. And the worst part is, basically when you're underwater, like deep, almost like about, let's say, 10 to 11, 12 feet. There's so much of pressure from the water that your ears, you have to pop your ears every time you go underneath. And then you just can't see anything. When you wear the goggles, first you wear the goggles, and then you see where everybody is placed. You see where the camera is. And then after that, you take the goggles off, you remove the goggles, and then you just can't see everything. Everything is just such a blur. And sometimes the chlorine just goes up.
That is hard, I think he talked about it before also. It's just hard when, like, I'm not 10 feet, but in a swimming pool, if you try that, you cannot really see much, even if the water is very clear. And then to see the camera, you have to perform an action, as he said before. You have to go behind someone, and it has to look cool also, and take someone down.
Up and oh god, and my eyes just turn red. But again, it was thrilling enough for me to keep doing it every day, and yeah. So That's about it. It's just such a beautiful moment, you know. I was mentioning it at the Beyond Fest also that, first time when I came into LA, this is the mecca of cinema world. Los Angeles is the mecca of cinema world. I was so intimidated.
I know that would a lot of people do not say India makes more films and all, but yeah, they started it, right? They were the innovators of cinema, and they brought the technology, and they keep experimenting, and they kind of, it's a starting point where through where everything it travels, and everyone utilizes that in a different manner, of course.
There were so many thoughts running in my head. It's like, how am I going to communicate with people? Do they do cinema? Does cinema speak the same language globally? You know what? How's it going to be? But after I came here, and after I started meeting people, things, I was like, you know what? Wait, we all speak the same language. It's cinema. It's movies. And then when we were at the Oscars, the kind of applause the song Naatu Naatu got, I'm like, this is such a weird thing. We're not, though.
We actually watched it live. I think on this channel, yes, I think on this channel it was. I don't know. Yeah, but we watched that Oscar live together, everyone on YouTube, and that moment. Yeah, I think I cut out a portion of that also to share it.
We are separated by a lot of water between the two countries. A lot of water and a lot of landmass as well. It takes us 16 hours and 20 minutes to get here. 24 hours journey from India to LA.
That's long, and I always think about, I cannot travel that long in a plane. I hate it. Within 2 hours, 3 hours, I actually download movie or a show or something to keep me occupied, not to think about it. And then, you get in, you start it, and then you don't even know when the time goes and you are landing now. That's great. But if 16 hours, what? Oh my God, crazy.
It's just so weird that we all speak the same language. And now, after being to the Oscars and after now being an Academy member, LA is not alien anymore to me. It's become so familiar. It's like another hometown. And I even mentioned that Los Angeles is my lucky charm. I was here for RRR, then we got the Oscars, then we won the Golden Globes, and now I'm here for Devara, meeting all of you, and you people are so familiar now. It's like, and whilst I was here, this is the first time in 24 years of my career that I've missed a release of a movie, not staying home. Mm-hmm. So, and my boys, I have a 10 and a 6, and there's just a bunch of energy for me, and I left them and I came here, and then I've got the reviews that my movie is doing phenomenally well. It's open to amazing reviews. I was like, hey, LA has become my lucky charm now. I said, for every movie, I'm going to be here. I'm going to sit down here, talk to everybody, promote my movie from here. Yeah, it's lovely.
I think I had talked to both of you guys about sort of your Hollywood ambitions when you were here last.
I always said that I would love being a part of the Marvel world, because Marvel for me...
Yeah, I had a theory that he's a good candidate to play Wolverine in the MCU X-Men. Of course, Hugh Jackman, I think he's going to retire after Secret Wars maybe. I think he's a good candidate because the backstory also fits him actually well, because I think Wolverine was in World War. And you can show a lot of Indians fought in World War, and he loses his memory, and he experimented on. So maybe after the war he's displaced, and he ends up in US, and there he's experimented on, and he becomes Wolverine. So it's a great great fit, and have an Indian context also from a character. So that'll be interesting if it happens.
Is very special, and I said that Iron Man is definitely one of my favorite characters, because you don't need to have superpowers. You don't need to be a god to have powers. He's just a human being, with the kind of mind he has.
Flawed
it's
human
so simple that everybody is a superhero. And you, me, we all are. So Marvel is something very exciting for me, and I would definitely want to be a part of the Marvel world. Because for me, my kids love the Marvels too. Okay. And both of them, when they watch a movie of mine, when I'm placed in the Marvel world, it's such a proud moment for them, and I really want to see that in their eyes. So let's see, hopefully, one day, every day.
Okay.
Let's
Manifesting.
Those meetings happen?
Not yet. Not yet. I'm hoping. I'm hoping. I'm hoping for it. I'm hoping for it.
It'd be cool.
And talking about your kids, and sort of it's a theme of the film, that the sort of the son who sort of is hoping to live up to his father, has maybe not quite the same talent as his father, whatever. How have sort of you sort of done things? Where do you sort of place yourself as a son and a father?
Well, let me start from Devara. The story predominantly is about a father who is unable to tell a son a story. Because when he's,
Listening to these things, like you see it in the movie also, but it's not executed that well. But listening way he says it in an interview, right? That means like, oh, this is so interesting. But I think the potential was not explored that well.
as a son, who wouldn't love stories? Father's always telling them stories. And one such son is not given the story by his father, by himself. He's like, my story probably is not worth narrating.
See,
And
that's
my
fascinating.
ancestors were warriors, but today I'm nothing but a smuggler. So maybe my story is not worth telling you. It's about how a son understands the emotion of the father and writes the biggest story for him, as a gift to him, as an ode to what he sees his father is. And it's very emotional. And for me, I think my father was a father who's giving me a fair chance to try a lot of things. Rather than restricting me to just do this, he said, you know what? He's given me those boundaries, those imaginary boundaries, and said, okay, this is your play field. Play. Do whatever you want to. Explore. Learn. Finally choose something you want to do, rather than just asking me or your mother or asking us to choose a future for you. I said, go in it if you want to. Well, my grandfather was an actor. My father was an actor. It's not like he told me that you have to be an actor. I was a national level badminton player.
Wow.
When
Didn't
I was
know
a
that.
kid. I was a professional a classical dancer. I used
That
to
I
travel
knew.
around the world, travel around the country to perform. It's not that I haven't seen, the share of my world. I have. And what it's done to me, it's made me so independent, to explore, to learn things, to do mistakes, to correct them with proper guidance, with proper friends, with well-wishers, and family is obviously there.
Oh, this is getting personal. I didn't expect it.
I just want to do the same thing to my kids. I said, somewhere it's too much of history sometimes is not good for your kids, is what I think. I would want to be the example to my kids rather than, saying, oh, you know what, my father used to do that. Or, you know what, my grandfather achieved this. Rather than that, I would want to be a hero to my father, an example to my kids, saying that, you know what, my father has achieved this. I want to have a journey of my own, a story which is worth telling to my kids. I think that's where I want to be known to my kids like that, and I want to repeat what my father has given me, the opportunity, the chance to explore and do something what they want to on their own, rather than saying that, rubbing it in and rubbing it on them, saying that, when you need to do this, you need to do that. I guess, kids today, the world is changing, especially with cinema. Look at this. I was this Telugu boy sitting in Hyderabad, and today I'm in Los Angeles, sitting down and talking to people about movies. I said, this is the journey we need to have. This is the journey someone always needs to have. So that's what I want to give my kids.
That's well said, man. That's well said. It's good. He has a good opportunity as a politician too. I get it.
And then, how do you encourage sort of love of the arts in your kids? What are the sort of specific things that you do?
Again, I just don't want to rub it on them. I don't want to. I definitely feel that kids today really, really, really need to have a mind of their own. They need to be exposed to something to a level where they can decide what they want to do. I don't want to be a hurdle saying that, do this, do that, do this, do that. See, every kid is different. Each kid. See, I have two boys coming out from the same mother's womb, but they're completely different. They're like the opposites. I mean, how the hell does that happen? That's nature. So I just want to nurture the thought in them. I don't want to put in any thought saying that, you have to be in art, you have to do this, because my father and mother didn't do that to me. They just let me explore. So I just want to do the same thing. I don't want to enforce anything on them. Well, yes. Sometimes, when they are exposed to my profession, always, and I think this exposure is never going to leave them. They obviously want to become an actor one day because they're seeing an actor father. Whenever they see him on screen, they always want to be an actor. I mean, come on. I ask my older one, what do you want to be? He says, I want to be an actor, I want to be a scientist, and then I want to be something else. And then my younger one says, okay, I want to be an actor, I want to be a fireman, and then I want to be a police officer. So, but the actor is there as a common thing because that's the exposure they're getting. But other than that, I really want to give them a lot of exposure for them to choose wisely. Finally, at the end of the day, if they want to become an actor, okay, come on, why not? Yeah. I'm here to guide you if you need it.
That looks good.
Somewhere I very intentionally learned to not have an ego. I think an actor needs to be very naive. I don't know if it makes sense because I feel that an actor should not have any calculations. And ego sometimes gets you into that calculation when you have a vision. You want to do this, you want to do that. You start calculating. And I think an actor just needs to be the most naive as possible. He just needs to be innocent. Every character you actually play in a movie is not what you are as a person. So you're just playing something else. And how do you envision it? And how do you act it out? How do you own it? All right, there's a scene of, let's say, there's a scene where my mother is dead and I have to emote on it. My mother is still alive. And how do I do that? So it's something in a human's body which needs to come out by within himself or
what's with this
herself.
music they are playing? Like typical Indian classical music.
I personally feel that you can never teach somebody how to act. You can give them the confidence, make them know the process. But ultimately, at the end of the day, when you're there in front of the camera, giving your 100% out for your character, you're the most lonely person. You're the most innocent. You're the most naive. It becomes like a survival instinct. I think that's the most purest form of acting. I think every actor has to try to disown a lot of things, unknow a lot of things, undo a lot of things to bring out that genuine performance out. So having an ego doesn't work for me. So every time I choose for a movie, every time I listen to a script, I try to see how much of that innocence is being built in me to play that character. If I feel that this character is something which is, again, not giving me that energy, that beautiful drive to go out of my house and go and work for it. I have 2 beautiful kids. I want to stay home as much as possible and spend time with them. If I go out for my work, that work has to be more exciting than these 2 beautiful boys. So otherwise it just makes no sense, If you talk about Devara, the father, and Vara is the son. Devara has got a lot of me in him. A lot of me in him. I have a lot of principles in life, and I stick by them. I make sure those principles are not meddled with. So I need those principles to follow into even the coming generations, because come on, principles are something which keep you grounded as well. These were created for us to just be on the ground, and rather than just levitate and just go elsewhere, rather than being
What are your principles?
Many. Okay, my main principle, my main motto is live and let live. Just everybody
Makes sense. I agree.
has got a job to do. Everybody has got work to do. Just be engrossed in your work. Enjoy what is given to you by this nature, what is given to you by God. If you're the chosen one, just go for it. Just put your 100% into it. Just don't disturb the ecosystem of everybody. Everybody is here to live. Everybody is in a race. You have to understand that actually there's no race. It's about you being happy with what you're doing. Enjoy that moment, because tomorrow you never know. It's I might go back home today, I might not wake up the next morning. You know, there's a beautiful saying in
Existential.
this movie called Kung Fu Panda. I don't know if you love the movie. It's with Po. He tells it to the panda, saying that, you know what, you're just too distressed about a lot of things in life. He says, yesterday is history. Tomorrow is a mystery. But today
Praise the
is a gift. And that's why it's called the
present.
present. So he said, forget about what's happened before. You never know what's going to happen tomorrow. Today is your time. Just live it to the fullest. This is my motto. I said,
It's turning out to be quite an interview. I didn't expect it. I thought it was mostly about the film, this and that, but we're going deep. I don't think we have. I remember seeing an Indian interview with him where he's trying to go so deep.
today. You know, there were times when my mother or my wife used to come and ask me, you know, what do you want to have for breakfast tomorrow? I was like, you know what, let me wake up in the morning. Let me decide after I wake up. I said, what if I just die tonight? But that day, you know, when I'm at the edge of that cliff and I'm given a chance, do you want to go back or do you want to just end this world? Are you happy? Are you content? I don't want to say that, oh, you know what, I need another chance. Because that chance, I think, which you're given.
This is quite deep. This is very interesting. I think a lot of people may think, you know, we have regrets. So what if that had happened? We live a lot in past, in the future. What will happen in the future? And I think sometimes we forget the present. And I think if you're living each moment as if, you know, what if it's not like, you know, anxious that what if it's the last moment, but what if it's the last day? But am I happy with everything I could till today? You know, like don't have regrets. Don't have, you know, things left for some other time. Today, let's not do it. Let's get over with it. Let's do it. Now it's the time.
Is pretty crippled. But I want to be the fullest, you know, with the fullest of my heart, say that, you know what, I've enjoyed this life. Take me away. Wow. It's deep, but I like being that. This is my motto. This is my principle. So don't get disturbed, don't get affected by everybody, because if you're getting affected by a lot of things, it's not you in there anymore. So this is my principle. So this is what Devara is, the character Devara is. And then again, there's another funny side of mine, you know, I'm a little playful, I'm a little innocent, you know, I spoke to you about the innocence of my acting, you know, how I want to be innocent, remain innocent for a very long time, be naive. I think that's what Vara is. In the process of writing a great story for his father, you know, he needs to be naive as well to understand what's actually, you know, what needs to be written. So there's a bit of both, I mean, like a bit of me in both the characters.
The closest that this movie could come to Naatu Naatu would be the dance where you're biting your
just putting that and doing that. Oh, I love that step. I really love it. I thought it was pretty cool.
Yeah.
It was choreographed by this very senior choreographer called Ganesh Acharya. He's been wanting to work with me for a very long time. I've been wanting to work with him for a very long time. And the moment I was on set,
okay,
and
I guess
he was
they
like
already
doing
saw.
this, I was like, I love this. You know, I personally feel that, you know, why Naatu Naatu was a rage. It's not the sheer complication of the step. It's the way it was articulated into the song. And I personally feel that a song becomes a super hit only when somebody like you or somebody, a commoner, who's not trained to be a dancer or to be an actor, if a commoner can replicate the step, that is connection. Yeah. I think that's when a song or a step becomes a super hit. I think this one is definitely going to be a rage today because it's so nice and it's so cool, right? Hopefully.
And distinctive too.
Yeah, I know.
Like, I don't think I've seen exactly that move before ever.
So nice. Hopefully it brings us an Oscar too. Let's see.
Let's not go too far.
Great. Very, very, very few movies in my list, and Pursuit of Happyness should be one of them. It's the constant strive of a father not to become successful. This is exactly what I said about my principles. It is not about success. It is not about earning money. It is about being content, looking at his son. You know, there's a drive. Every day he looks at his son. There's a drive that he needs to have a secure future for his son. And this I understood when I had a boy. And I saw the movie after I had my first one. And for me, the moment I looked at that movie, I just got so personally moved, connected, that I started looking at him immediately. And then I made him watch the movie, and he was like, And he just looked at it and he just loved it. There's so much of me in that movie as well. The strive to do something big, the strive to make a story, to narrate to my kids, to become an inspirational person for them, to become an example, to set an example. That movie is so much of me.
You talked about it in that letterbox video also. Yeah, that movie is special, and I think he definitely. I think we saw a very emotional side of him today in this interview.
And I fell in love with that movie. And even till now, whenever that movie is telecasted on TV, my wife keeps telling me, it's like, how many times am I going to watch that movie? She's like, stop it. I said, I watched it on OTT, then I watched it on TV. I'm like, why? She was like, what's wrong with you? I was like, I don't know. I just love it. Every time I see that movie, and especially, when they're in the station, and all of a sudden he says, oh my God, look at the dinosaurs. And the boy's like, whoa. And then they go into the washroom and they're there and somebody's trying to open the door and Will's expressions there. I just love that movie. I mean, like, I think that it was such a perfect example of a father and a son relationship. I think that's the movie I would always recommend to everyone, and everybody who's watched it since then has always teared up. Yeah. Cinderella Man again is another movie, because we've
Cinderella
seen so much
Man.
of
I don't know about this.
boxing movies in life. Rocky is my favorite, and Cinderella Man, I think somewhere it's given a new dimension to it. It's always not about going up. It's the story of the person who's up there, fell down, and how he goes up again for his kids. So any movie which
That's kind of like Creed also.
actually has got a father trying to do something for the kids, and I just get so related to it. I don't know. It's just me as a person.
Yeah.
I love these two movies.
That's great. No, that dovetails well with everything else. Yeah. Interesting.
Exactly.
It is like the movies you like and you adore kind of gives you what kind of person you are, in a sense. It's like it kind of reflects your personality in a sense.
And then part 2, you're done filming, or
No, not yet. We've shot for a few sequences, but now that we've got this responsibility that part 1 is going good, I think we'll take a little more time to etch the part 2 into something bigger and better, and which excites the audiences a little more. So we'll be writing it in. I just want my director to just take a month off. I told him this. I said, you know what? This is my gift to you. I said, I'm gonna send you away from Hyderabad. Go 1 month, a month or a month and a half. Just go. Just have fun. Just don't think about anything. Come back, and then we'll start writing for it again. Let's just refresh, re-energize, rethink.
That's good.
Recalculate, recalibrate, and then we'll write Devara 2.
Okay, so it's not like the whole story was there.
It is. It is there. It is there. It is there. But now we have the whole story ready for Devara 2. Now that sometimes when you when you have a result, but you want to recalibrate it, a little bit, rework a little bit. So that's the only thing which is going to happen. We've already shot for 2 amazing sequences for Devara 2. So those sequences are going to be there. We're going to up the ante a little bit more. We're going to add a little more wildness to it now. So I think that's what we're going to do.
I really, I didn't know, like, the way the film ended, I'm like, what's part 2 really? Like, there's not much. Like, I think what is left is just one sequence of, what happened to Devara. But other than that, what's more to explore here? So, I'm really confused. So it'll be interesting to see what is actually there, to see more in part 2.
About it. I really want to thank everybody from LA, the press, the media, the filmmakers, the audiences, everybody for just you've been nothing but a source of encouragement, and we want to come back with more. The Telugu film industry today, earlier it was the Hindi film industry which was endorsing the country. But today we're like, hey, you know what? The Telugu movie industry is also endorsing the country. Yeah. That's a very big thing for us. And this all wouldn't have happened if Rajamouli, as a filmmaker, wouldn't have envisioned this. This wouldn't have happened if the West didn't caress us with that beautiful hug for RRR. I think it's
That's true.
we're deeply indebted, and we'll come back with more wildness to 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 surprise you all.
I feel the next Rajamouli film will, I think, considering it's a globe throttling, like it's like kind of Indiana Jones and it's set in the I think 80s or something like that. I think considering that genre, I think West they have Indiana Jones and they like it, but the new film didn't work at all. So I guess that may work way better than RRR did. And considering Rajamouli and like literally like RRR came in 2021, 22, 2023, 2024. We still have not even heard what's the next film. We know Mahesh Babu this and that they are in the pre-production phase. They start I think shoot next year. So next year, and then it will take 2 years to shoot, and then 27, 28, we'll get another Rajamouli film 7 years later. And that's how much they are working on it. So that's great, Like I love the fact that he could have easily taken just 2, 3 years and just come out with another film because he has so much, now audiences and he can go to West and Hollywood and all of that. But I love that that's not happening. And I think if I'm not wrong, Netflix is getting a deal that they will produce that film, so they are gonna put the money in. That's actually great because then Netflix is gonna market it everywhere in the West, and it will become a big market. But I think it will be like a theater first, then Netflix. But that deal has to be looked upon. Rajamouli would not want like a directly on Netflix. He would want the film to be like in theaters. So let's see how that works out. But this was a great interview. I think a new aspect of Indian cinema has opened up to the West, and this was like he went all in. All his things, deep things he wanted to talk, and personal, emotional stuff. So you kind of a different aspect of Junior NTR here. But this was fun, and I'm not a fan of part one of Devara, but I hope they do much better with part two. That's always the hope. I'm not like I don't want a film to be bad, but yeah, part one wasn't that, but part two, hopefully they do a better job. But what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. And you can check out this video next, and I will see you next time.